The Apple Glowtime event just happened. I was watching it from home and I wanted to share my thoughts as to what I think about all the different updates for the Apple Watch, iPhone, and AirPods. Now, starting with the iPhone 16, you still have the same models. So you've got the 16, the 16 Plus, you've got the 16 Pro, and then the Pro Max. With the iPhone 16, you're getting a bunch of different colors. You've got that teal, a blue, a pink, a white, and black. But the main difference here is going to be the bump in the camera. The main change with the camera is the ultra wide. It's a 12 megapixel that has been ported over from last year's 15 Pro and Pro Max models. So basically with the iPhone 16 camera, you're getting the 15 Pro and Pro Max camera except for that telephoto lens. Another feature of the camera system is the addition of the touch-sensitive camera control button. So this button is going to let you access the camera tools, zoom in and out, everything that you need to do in terms of the camera, you're going to be able to do it. What I found interesting is the placement of this button because I think it's going to take some getting used to, especially for left-handed people. But what I really think the reason for this placement is to get people used to shooting in landscape. Because if you look at majority of the people, every time we pick up our iPhones, it's just natural to shoot the camera like this in vertical format. But I think because of Vision Pro and Apple wanting, incorporating like all these different things like spatial video and all that, right? They want people to naturally do this when it comes to camera control. So that way you can have more spatial video, which will future integrate with your Apple Vision Pro. Another feature that's been borrowed from the Pro models of last year is the addition of the action button. It's now making its way to the regular 16 and 16 Plus. Now, I personally have used the action button on the 15 Pro and Pro Max, and what I tied it to is bunch of smart home shortcuts. So just turning on and off lights for the different rooms in my house. And that's been great because I always keep my phone in silent. Right now, my Mini has been in silent like since the day I got it. So I never used the ring and silent feature of my phone. So having an action button there is actually better because you can literally tie it to anything really. Now let's move on to the internals. And here you're going to get the A18 processor as opposed to the A18 Pro that's found in the Pro and Pro Max. This obviously has been changed because of Apple Intelligence, but do remember a lot of the Apple Intelligence stuff is not going to be available out of the box when you get your iPhone 16 or 16 Plus. But what I've found most interesting is the RAM on the A18 and the A18 Pro is exactly the same. And in terms of processing power, the main difference is there's a 5-core GPU in the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, but in the Pro models, you have a 6-core GPU. That's really not that big of a difference. So again, if you're not somebody that really uses all these pro features, the iPhone 16, the regular model, looks even more compelling. Now that's all for the regular 16 and 16 Plus. As for the 16 Pro and Pro Max, they too are getting a new color. It's the Desert Titanium. So it's kind of like a mix between like a gold, bronze, but then also like a creamy white. I'll do a color comparison as I normally do for all the different models. So be subscribed if you want to see that when it drops. Now the black titanium color is also going to be deeper. Again, we'll take a look at it in person. But then you also have the silver titanium and then the natural titanium. The natural titanium was by far my favorite from last year. It just matched really well with the Apple Watch Ultra, and I think it just has a really clean look. Apart from the colors, another design change is that the Pro models are going from a 6.1 inch screen to a 6.3 inch, and then the Pro Max models are going from a 6.7 to 6.9. Now, I personally was happy with the 15 Pro size. I find that to be really comfortable, especially coming from a smaller device. So I'm really interested to see what this is actually going to feel like or look like once I finally get the phones in my hands. Now that's all in terms of design. Otherwise, if you look at the 16 Pro and 15 Pro, they are going to look the same. Likewise with the Pro Max models. But the main addition here is going to be that ultra wide camera. So the ultra wide is now a 48 megapixel. So when you go to take those macro photography shots, they will have much better quality. And again, for Apple Vision Pro in the future, spatial video is just going to look that much better because you have a good wide camera and now you've matched the ultra wide, both which are responsible for creating spatial video. Now, what I really was happy to see is that both camera systems this time around are the same. So it's just going to be a matter of size preference and also battery preference. Another change with the camera is that the wide lens on both the Pro and Pro Max is going to be twice as fast. This is going to be great, especially when you go to shoot those raw photos. They do take a little bit of time to shoot the photo, but this should hopefully improve that. You'll also have the ability to shoot in 4K 120 frames per second. Now, if you have been shooting ProRes video, this is going to be a great addition for you because you can really slow that footage down and get that cinematic look. Lastly, you do have the same camera control system that I talked about earlier with the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. So that is, again, going to be interesting to see once I finally get my hands on it. Now, in terms of performance, these have the A18 Pro chip. Again, it's for all the Apple Intelligence features, a lot of them which are coming at a later date. We don't know yet, but they are due to come later. But the main difference is GPU performance, so it's really going to be up to you. And like I said before, I really think that if you are not taking advantage of all this Pro stuff, then look at the regular 16. That is a much better, much cheaper option. And if you really want a Pro phone, then the 15 Pro and Pro Max aren't that much different. You could buy one of those used and save yourself a bunch of money, which you can spend on accessories. I always like to be practical, and I always share this advice with anyone looking for an upgrade because year over year, the upgrades aren't made for people that bought the phones last year. They're made for people that are still holding on to those older devices. So if you're not really in need for it, look into other options. Now that's all for the iPhones, which I mainly wanted to cover, but you do have updates to the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch Ultra, for starters, is finally getting a black color. It's the Ultra 2. No other updates were made, so only difference between the regular Ultra, which I have, and the Ultra 2 is double tap and a faster processor, and I think more brightness in terms of the screen. But yeah, that's really it. And I will be getting that to see it for myself and share it with you. As for the regular Series 10, it also got a bunch of updates. It's a lot slimmer. It's got a new screen. It's got a new processor. And replacing the stainless steel is like the new titanium finish, which actually is nice because now if you're looking to buy the regular Apple Watch, you have those titanium variants which are much lighter, and it's nice to get that option without having to buy the pricier Apple Watch Ultra. As for the AirPods Pro 2 got a hearing aid feature, which is going to basically create a profile for you. So if you have difficulty hearing or any hearing issues, it's going to create an adaptive profile for you, which can be applied to music and other things. So that's really cool, but no other changes were made to the AirPods Pro 2. As for the regular AirPods, you now have the AirPods 4, which are replacing the AirPods 3. Those are the ones that I currently have, and I really like them. But you've got an option to buy them with active noise cancellation. So they actually come in two different variants. The AirPods 4 will be powered by the H2 chip. You also have features like voice isolation for clearer phone calls. Also, there is a transparency mode, which is really cool. And I personally am going to be really interested to see how they compare to the AirPods 3, especially the variant with the noise cancellation, because typically noise cancellation is done with an in-ear solution, so something that is completely sealed. So with the AirPods 4 having an open-ear design, it's going to be really interesting to see how they work. Lastly, the AirPods Max actually got updated with a bunch of different colors and also USB-C. But in terms of audio or any other features, I didn't find anything when trying to dig deeper into it. Overall, the Apple event to me felt like a bunch of updates as opposed to upgrades. I know the iPhone's got a bunch of camera additions and everything, but you have to remember, like, if you got a phone in the recent past, like if you're on a 15, 14, something recent, these are not that major to be upgrading. But again, we'll take a deep dive, so get subscribed, because I will be ordering these devices, and once I have them in person, I will be doing full reviews. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below with your thoughts on the Apple Glowtime event. And until next time, take care of yourself, and like always, I will see you in the next video.